Good day, my name is Vasily Tarasenko, I'm a Russian attorney, and this is news for the first 2 weeks of October 2023. Like usually, I share news that I take from Russian official documents, laws, orders, decrees. No fakes, no rumors, only official sources. So in this newscast of the first part of October 2023, temporary restriction for entry into the Russian Federation for Ukrainian citizens. 15% charge for selling foreigners' property in Russia. Increase in abroad export duties for Russian goods. Russian counter-sanctions aimed at limiting the import of agriculture products into Russia from unfriendly countries. Russian Ministry of Economic Development reported that Russian citizens are advised not to travel to Israel for tourism purposes until the situation in the country improves. This news and more see at this video. On October the 6th of 2023, by order of the government of the Russian Federation signed by Prime Minister Mishustin, the entry into Russia for Ukrainian citizens arriving from the territories of third countries is temporarily restricted from October 16th of 2023. The document states, I quote, "The Federal Security Service of Russia temporarily restrict the entry into the Russian Federation for Ukrainian citizens arriving to the Russian Federation from third states at checkpoints across the state border of the Russian Federation from 0 local time on October 16th, 2023. An exception is provided for the Sheremetyevo air checkpoint Moscow region and the Ludonka automobile checkpoint Pskov region. In addition, restrictions don't apply to Ukrainian citizens under the age of 14 who entered the Russian Federation alone or accompanied by their legal representative, guardian or trustee from among the Russian citizens. The government has updated the conditions for transaction aimed at the alienation of assets by foreign entities associated with unfriendly foreign states. It was decided that when considering the question of issuing permits for the transactions aimed at the alienation of selling of securities, including shares, stakes, contributions, in the authorized capitals of the Russian entities by the above foreign entities, one of the conditions would be an obligation of the foreign entity on voluntary payment of funds in the amount of at least 15% of the market value of the relevant assets to the federal budget. This innovation concerns shares, stakes and other assets in the capital of Russia, legal entities owned or associated with foreign states that commit unfriendly actions towards the Russian Federation, Russian legal entities and Russian citizens. A 15% sales fee must also be paid by foreign persons who have the citizenship of states unfriendly to Russia, or by persons who are under the control of these foreign persons regardless of the place of their residence and business type. The value of assets from which 15% is calculated would be determined by a report on an independent assets market value assessment carried out by an appraiser. Note that the list of approved appraisers of this procedure is also determined by the subcommittee, and such an assessment cannot be carried out by any appraiser. Export duty rates for October 2023 for the export of many goods have been published. In October, the export custom duty rate for products from a wide range is 7% of the customs price. Separately, new duty rates have been determined for some types of fertilizers. For example, Russian exporters of mineral and chemical nitrogen fertilizers will pay 10% of their custom price instead of 7% in September, but not less than 1,100 rubles per 1 ton. Let me remind you that from October the 1st, 2023, the export duties on these products and fertilizers, as a general rule, depend on the average exchange rate of the US dollar to the ruble. Russian government says Russian counter-sanction aimed at limiting the import of agricultural products into Russia from unfriendly countries have been extended until December 31st, 2024. At the same time, the Russian Ministry of Agriculture was instructed to approve the permitted volume of import into the Russia Federation of whey powder with a demineralization level of 90% intended for the production of infant milk powder, breast milk subsidies for 2024. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs reports that Angola has introduced a visa-free regime for tourists from Russia. Thus, it is reported that Russian citizens traveling to Angola for tourism purposes are given the opportunity to enter visa-free and stay in the country for up to 30 days. So the total period of permitted stay in Angola should not exceed 90 days during the year. The State Duma approved a bill expanding the list of baby supplies, the sale of which is subject to VAT at a rate of 10%. Let me remind you that the usual average value-added tax rate is 20% in Russia. The list of preferential VAT calculation additionally includes groups of goods intended for child care: bottles, nipples, potties, and child restraint devices intended for use in motor vehicles. In addition, the bill specifies the list of school writing implements and also determine the composition of children's furniture, including beds, mattresses, chairs, high chairs, and cribs. The government decree dated October 2nd, 2023 states that Russian credit organizations now have the right to apply for subsidies to compensate for lost income on loans or other instruments for financing the acquisition of merchant ships for the development of foreign trade activities. The bottom line is that by order of the government, Russia credit organizations, banks, etc. provide businesses with preferential rates for loans when conducting foreign trade activities. And the above resolution approved that the rules for subsidizing the banks themselves from the state to support the financing of such loans. This applies to credit agreement, syndicated lending agreement, loans, letter of credit financing, leasing, etc. The Russian Ministry of Economic Development reported that Russian citizens are advised not to travel to Israel for tourism purposes until the situation in the country improves. Russian tour operators and travel agents must suspend the promotion and sale of tourism products as well as certain tourism services to Israel, and must also inform Russian tourists who have entered into or are planning to enter into agreements on the sale of tourism products to Israel about the current situation in the country, the procedure changes or termination of the contract. And other news that became known in October 2023. Rosreestr of Russia, this is the body that keeps records of real estate registration data, has given clarification on the issue of providing personal data of the real estate holders as part of publicly available extracts from the official register at the request of the property owner's former spouse. It is reported in particular that the personal data of the real estate owner can be provided to his or her spouse if there are marital relations between them. However, pursuant to the current law, persons whose marriage has been ended are not granted this right. For those who have a corresponding material and legal interest but don't have the right to receive limited access information from the Unified State Register of Real Estate, federal law provides for a mechanism for obtaining information about the real estate owner through a notary. That is all for 15th of October 2023. My name is Vasily Tarasenko, I'm a Russian attorney. Bye.